Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a DIY Dollar Tree Farmhouse reverse canvas artwork, and I'm going to teach you a light box trick. So we're going to use the 5x7 canvas. I think this was 4x6, 5x7, 4x6 maybe. Anyway, we're going to use a black Sharpie, or you can paint if you like your painting skills. We're going to use the fat one for like the 3-dimensional. You can use the regular Sharpie. I'm just showing you. They have options all at the Dollar Tree. We're going to need a scissor and an X-Acto knife. I'm not going to use the X-Acto knife. I'm actually going to use the craft blade from the Dollar Tree, as well as some hot glue. Now, to use the Lightbox method, you're going to just need a picture frame. It could be one that you already use. We're just going to take the glass out of it, and some sort of tablet. That was my tip right there. No, I'm just kidding. It really wasn't. The first thing I wanted to do is, hopefully you've been able to find these canvases at the Dollar Tree, but any canvas art will work. You know, sometimes they have them already printed up. The thing is, with the other canvas arts, the frame is not wood, it's fiberboard, but you can still get the effect. And what we're basically going to do is we're going to cut this canvas off of this frame, and we're going to use the frame like the we're going to use the frame as an actual frame. Now, if you can have a canvas that you want to redo at home, you could take the staples out and do that whole step, but then you'll have staple holes to deal with. So the easiest way I found is to cut the canvas off, and that's what we're going to use. Like I said, I'm using this utility knife from the Dollar Tree, not my X-Acto knife, because it's a little bit more heavy duty. And I'm just going to cut along the sides of the staples. So just towards the corner. You want to be as careful as possible because this is a really sharp craft utility knife. And this utility knife, if you guys are new around here, is from the hardware section. And it is my absolute favorite. It is so super sharp, and I've used it for so many projects. And I haven't had to snap a new blade yet. Maybe I did one. I don't think I have yet, but it's super sharp. So we're just going to go along the edge of the staples right around to the corner, like right almost to the corner of the wood. And once you have all 4 sides cut, you're just going to put as you see, you flip it over. It's like a beautiful wood canvas frame. And you're just going to place your canvas off to the side while we clean up the remaining pieces that we left behind. And you're just going to use your scissor for this. So we talked about needing your scissor as well. And what I just tried to do is to try to cut as close to the staples as I could, so none of the extra material would be hanging off on the one side or any of the sides. Now, while I'm doing this, I don't have to talk to you while I'm cutting, but the Lightbox trick, we're going to use my tablet. We're going to use my iPad mini. But there are other methods. If you could manage to get a light under a picture frame, so lots of twinkle lights, like a couple of sets of twinkle lights. If you can hold it over an actual box and put like a tap light in there. One of the tricks is if you take a piece of glass over like a Tupperware container. That straddles over a Tupperware container, and you put like tap lights under it. You can use that for a light box. But with the iPad, the only reason we're putting the glass over it is because any other material, like plastic or whatever, will manipulate the iPad. So as we draw, the image on the iPad will move. So we're going to make sure, I'm going to show you how to do that. But there's other methods out there. There's lots of DIY light boxes on the market. But if you could use anything like that, that will help you. The thing with the other light boxes, as opposed to the tablet, is then you'll have to print out the thing that you want to transfer onto the canvas. And with the iPad light box, we're just going to show it on the screen and then transfer it from the screen. So you'll see that. Okay. Now, I am so sorry. I literally talked this entire thing through and realized that my camera wasn't on. So all I did was I went to Google Images. I searched, first I was thinking about egg art. So I put farmhouse egg art, and then I found this amongst it, and it was so perfect. And it says our nest, and then it's established, and then you put what year is established. So I have it blown up and edited on my iPad as big as I can get it, which is perfect size for the canvas. And then I put the glass on top. And just be careful because the glass has obviously got edges. And again, I'm sorry this whole tracing thing, the camera was not on. I just was so mad at myself this morning. But then all I did, as you can see through it, is I just took my regular Sharpie and I outlined the fat and skinny lines as well as all of, basically all of the lines. And I wanted to show you too that you can switch it up a little bit. So down on the bottom, the original established was in that little farmhouse writing, but I just wanted it to be just different. I like when it looks like two different fonts. I do. So I went ahead and I put that in just a uppercase print. And then I put 2000 because obviously that's our nest was established. And I just love the way this came out. So as you can see, I am holding my left hand down. You can tape it if you're afraid of it moving, but then the glass still can move on the iPad. But you can tape it, but I pull it back from time to time just to see if I'm actually doing it correct. Now, I also want to show you my N is a little bit more personalized than the N on the actual thing. The N on the actual thing is more of what you'd see just the normal farmhouse. I added the little flourish in the front because I just like that. That's the way I wanted it. So you can also personalize it. There are lots of printing programs that allow you to use this font to write whatever you want. So if you wanted to do, say, your last name or someone's last name, and you wanted to be able to make this for them, that would be great. But like I said, it's definitely easy to remove the canvas than to remove the staples. And it is definitely easier to write on the canvas, whatever you're going to write, before you put it back in the frame. Now, there's two reasons for that. One is the frame won't be in your way, so you won't have to be going like inside, like, you don't have to be working around the actual three-dimensional frame. But the other reason is if your spacing isn't, exactly perfect, when you go to to glue the frame on, you have a little room to give. You have a little room to move, okay? So then we're going to turn it over and we're going to expose the just wood part. And we're going to see how you can place it. You can design it now. You can make it centered. You have that extra little quarter of an inch, half an inch on each side to play with. And then you're going to take a pencil, which you can't see the pencil on the camera. So I'm going to go over for you guys. But you just take a pencil with a few swift passes on each side to basically, we're going to cut it before we glue it because it'll make it much easier than trying to trim it later. We'll get a much cleaner effect as well. So I'm going around all the four sides, and I wanted to show you how I go back and forth with the pencil, but you guys can't see that on the camera. So if you bear with me, I'm going to do it again with that thin Sharpie marker just to you guys to see exactly what I did. So you're going to line it up. Okay, and then you're going to get that fine edge Sharpie. If you have trouble seeing, you might want to use that fine edge Sharpie or a pen, either way. But we're going to use that fine edge Sharpie to go ahead and draw in the lines from the outside of the frame. So make sure you hold it exactly where you want it, and just run your pen back and forth around all four sides so that you know exactly where to cut. Now, again, you can go ahead and glue it first, which is totally optional, and then cut it later. Totally up to you. I just find this way I have less of a tendency to accidentally move it because you kind of have to glue it on the other side. You have to glue it while it's upside down. So you can see the lines there. Now the trick is to cut on the inside of the lines. See, this is me talking to you, but I lost half the video, so you can see there that it's a beautiful framed piece of artwork, and you can go ahead and stain it at this point. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to stain it. Basically, I'm just going to use that brown watered down paint that I used the other day. But you can do whitewash, gray wash, anything that you want, the look that you want. You can use actual stain. But with this whitewash paint, with this stain paint technique, I've just taken a damp paper towel, put some really diluted brown paint on it, and I'm just going over the four sides. You know what's really nice about this as opposed to stain? Not only is it way less expensive because this paint is super cheap, but you can get the tone that you want because you could select whatever color brown that you want. You can get the depth of the finish that you want by how much water you add to it. It's a lot easier to clean up. You use it with paper towel. It's water soluble. And here's my favorite part. It is dry in absolutely no time. Because, of course, depending on how much water to paint ratio you use, it evaporates way faster than stain. Stain, even polyurethane stain takes a while, a little bit longer to dry. Acrylic stain, I'm sorry, takes a little bit longer to dry. But with this whitewash paint technique, it dries in almost no time, and it's very little mess. It doesn't really transfer to your fingers as much, and if it does, it's very, very slight. And again, it's also non-toxic, so that's another thing to keep in mind. But I just find it so much easier, like, to get the tone that you want, and if the wood is less quality, it won't really have so many variations that it would be if it was actual stain. Sometimes with actual stain, if the wood is not good quality, it will absorb in spots, not absorb in spots. If the frame was made by somebody else, maybe there's glue on the surface that won't allow the stain to be settle in. So it's just those kinds of things that make this technique a lot easier. And it really is dry in no time. This is me actually just like cleaning up, throwing out the paper towel, and it is ready to keep going. I just can keep going with the project. Just clean off your paper towel fuzzies. And now we have it all marked how we want to cut it. And the trick to cutting it, and the reason we marked it, is to make it easier to glue it on. So you want to make sure that you cut on the inside of the pen line, basically towards the artwork, towards the inside, just barely on the inside, but you want to make sure that you cut on the inside. This way you don't really have to do much trimming, if any. Okay. It also helps because you see when we glue it, we're going to glue it, like I said, we're going to glue it on the back side, and we won't have to worry about will it be centered, will it be even, because we have already established that before we went ahead and drew our lines. Okay. So now you can see here it's a little like shadowy, so it was hard for me to see if I was cutting on the inside of the line. So you just go back if that's the case. If it's just, if you missed a little, you can go back and clean it up, and you can trim away as necessary and as needed. All right. And we are just going to use hot glue for this, but if you feel like really making this authentic, or if you like you want to sell this or whatever, you could take out the staple gun. You could definitely staple this back on so it looks like an official piece of art canvas. But for us, it's just for us. So now I'm also just going to show you. I made this for myself to actually stand. It will stand on its own. It doesn't need any extra support like we've done in the past. But I also am going to show you a quick and easy hanger for the back in case you want to actually hang your sign up as well. All right. So now we're just going to glue this canvas right on to the back of where the staples were. Now, my tips for doing that is obviously we always want to dry fit it. We always do that. And I'm actually going to glue one side at a time. So I'm going to kind of like glue the one short side, put it back in its place, and then glue up one side almost always, almost the whole way, excuse me, and lay it down real quick, and then very quickly just glue the other side, the opposing side of this opposing long side, almost to the very end. And then once I have that established, I can go ahead and I can do it across the fourth short side. And it's so simple. It's so simple. And then just press it down with your hands. Remember, it's warm. If you have any glue seepage, if you use too much glue, just be careful of that. Keep that in mind as well. And then, of course, inspect on the inside of your frame that you didn't accidentally get any glue on the inside of your frame. I did in the bottom left-hand corner, but you honestly cannot see it unless you're really looking really close. But we do have glue strings. And since I don't have a hair dryer, as you guys know, I'm going to take my glue strings off with my fingers. But I just love this. It's really funny because it took Pinterest to remind me about reverse canvas art. This is something like that we saw back in the 80s. And, it's back again. And it's just the best, cleverest, easiest way to make a beautiful frame. I know we've done so many framed art pieces from Dollar Tree stuff, but it is just the easiest way out of all of them, to be honest with you. So I'm going to show you here how to put on a hanger. So we've done lots of hangers on different wreaths before, and the wreaths don't always where we hang, I'm sorry, where we put a hang on our wreath isn't always as critical as where we're going to put it on this piece of art. So we're going to just take a little piece of jute. We're going to make our loop, and I wanted to make the loop really small. So in case you did hang this somewhere near light, you wouldn't see that there was a hanger back there. The Dollar Tree does sell a little tiny kit from time to time that has like the hanging sawtooth hangers on them or eye hooks. But we're just going to make a teeny tiny one of our little tiny nooses, as you can see. Okay, and then we're going to cut off all the extra string. Now, to find where to hang it, we're going to use the balance technique. So I'm just taking a Sharpie, actually. I think I end up using my pen. But first I try my finger, but I'll show you a little easier with a pen because it'll roll off the pen. So I'm going to take the Sharpie and I'm going to try to balance it. So you see how it kind of wiggles, and if I go off to the side, you see it just falls completely flat. But you see how it wiggles? If you can put it in the exact spot where it'll hang, it really won't have much wiggle. And once you find that part, that area, then you establish on the back, that's where you're going to put your hanger. Okay, so if you hold your pen on the frame and it wiggles a lot, try to just move it ever so slightly until it doesn't get much wiggle. Okay, and then you want to hang your frame that way. And then it ended up being perfect. So we just put a big glob of glue on it. And when the glue was dry, then we were ready to hang it. Okay, now I want to show you it does stand. But if you felt like you wanted a thicker base, you could always glue some of the Jenga blocks to the back of them just to give it a little bit more width on the bottom. But I'm noticing that I actually had a little bit of canvas hangover, which I didn't notice before. But there you go. Here it is. Ta-da! Okay, so that's it, everybody. I know this is super easy. I hope you were able to find a tablet that you can use to create the Lightbox effect. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with friends and family, anybody you know might be interested in making one of these. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe, join the family. It's a fun family. And if you know, you ring that little, when you do, you ring that little bell, the YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. I love how I say the YouTube, right? And as always, you take care. God bless. See you next time. Bye.